Now, a remarkable scientific discovery has been made in China. Researchers say they found the skull of what they believe is a new species of human.
The story of mankind, especially our journey from ape to man, is one of survival, adaptation, and transformation. Today, we know that we are a product of an evolutionary process as old as life itself on our planet. We have a fairly standard understanding of human evolution too. We evolved in Africa and then populated the Earth. But what if it was not that simple? Recent discoveries have unearthed a new chapter in our story.
It's made from hundreds of fragments of incredibly fragile bone that have been painstakingly pieced together.
One that challenges everything we thought we knew about our origins. Most notably, newly discovered human species have raised major doubt about the origin of humans. So, what is the deal with this update? How will we look at the history of our species differently? Let's dig in and find out. The dawn of our evolutionary journey. Long before humans ever walked the Earth, the planet was a very different place. The land was dominated by massive, shifting continents, vast oceans, and teeming ecosystems of animals that had yet to encounter their most intelligent rival, humankind. The world was ruled by creatures we would come to know as dinosaurs, their reign stretching through millions of years. But it was not until their extinction that the stage would truly be set for humanity's rise. In the aftermath of this cataclysmic event, life began to flourish again. Small mammals, once overshadowed by the dinosaurs, began to diversify, creeping, crawling, and scurrying across the planet. These early creatures lived in the shadows of the massive beasts that once dominated the land. Yet their descendants carried the seeds of the future, tiny steps that would eventually lead to the rise of Homo sapiens. The dramatic moment in this story arrived around 6 million years ago, when one of the earliest human ancestors, Australopithecus, made its appearance. Unlike its ape-like relatives, Australopithecus made a monumental leap. This was the transition from walking on all fours to standing on two legs. It was a change that reshaped both the body and the mind, unlocking new possibilities for survival, communication, and even social structure. This moment is the cornerstone of our evolutionary history, where the earliest members of the hominid lineage began walking on two legs, facing the changing world with a new vantage point. One of the most evocative portrayals of this moment in history can be found in Stanley Kubrick's iconic 1968 film, 2001: A Space Odyssey. The film opens with the dawn of humanity in a scene that is as much about mystery as it is about wonder. Kubrick's depiction of early hominids is hauntingly visceral. They struggle to survive against a harsh environment led by a tribe of primates until the sudden, mysterious arrival of a monolithic stone structure, an enigmatic monolith, which sparks a dramatic shift. In this moment, the primal creatures, initially hunched over, feel the urge to stand upright, their eyes widening with recognition of their potential. Kubrick's visual imagery, a long, slowly advancing shot of the hominids gazing at the monolith, becomes a symbol for that essential evolutionary leap, the shift from instinct to intelligence, from the world of animalistic survival to the dawning awareness of something greater. This cinematic portrayal mirrors the truth behind our evolutionary roots. Just as 2001: A Space Odyssey conveys, there was something unknown, something unexplainable about the great leap forward. Something stirred within these early ancestors, propelling them toward the next great transformation. Roughly 5 million years after the appearance of Australopithecus, Homo habilis, one of the first species to be classified under the Homo genus, began to make tools, an innovation that would forever separate humans from other species. However, the emergence of Homo sapiens, the species we now recognize as ourselves, was not a singular event, but the culmination of countless shifts and changes over millions of years. Throughout this expansive timeline, multiple human species coexisted, evolved, and eventually disappeared, each leaving its own imprint on the tapestry of human history. Homo erectus, Neanderthals, and Denisovans were all contemporaries at various points in time. The story of human evolution is written not only in our bones, but also in the tools we created and the environments we shaped. The archaeological record tells a tale of trial and error, ingenuity, and survival. Early humans crafted simple stone tools like sharp flakes and hand axes, tools that allowed them to hunt, gather, and defend themselves more effectively. As human populations migrated and dispersed, These tools evolved alongside their makers, reflecting changing climates and environments. In isolated pockets of the Earth, groups of humans adapted to their surroundings in unique ways. These isolated populations became crucibles of evolutionary change, and through genetic studies, we can trace the influences of these environments on the early hominid genome. We can look back at Africa as the birthplace of our species, but it is important to recognize that human evolution occurred not in a single, linear fashion, but through a series of isolated groups. These groups, influenced by environmental factors such as fluctuating climates, created their own versions of humanity, all while maintaining connections through gene exchange. Some species, like the Neanderthals, evolved to thrive in colder Ice Age environments, while others, like early humans in Africa, adapted to hotter, more open landscapes. Modern genetic research has uncovered the intimate relationship we share with these ancient relatives. Through DNA analysis, we have discovered that many non-African humans carry traces of Neanderthal and Denisovan genes, evidence of ancient interbreeding. So, how did we piece all of this together? The Pit of Bones. In the rugged hills of northern Spain lies an archaeological site that has become one of the most significant discoveries in the study of human evolution. The Cima de los Huesos, or Pit of Bones, is an ancient cave system that, for decades, has held an extraordinary secret beneath its jagged entrance. The remains of an ancient hominid population that lived over 400,000 years ago. The discovery of the Pit of Bones was a momentous breakthrough in 1994, when a team of researchers uncovered more than 6,500 fossilized human bones scattered in a chamber deep within the cave. These remains represented one of the richest fossil finds of its kind. More than 28 individuals were represented in the bones, most of them disarticulated and deposited together in what seemed to be an intentional fashion. While the identity of the individuals in the Pit of Bones was initially debated, subsequent studies of the remains revealed that they belonged to Neanderthals, the enigmatic cousins of modern humans. However, the discovery of Neanderthal bones at Cima de los Huesos was not the end of the story. On the contrary, it was merely the beginning of an extraordinary scientific journey. With the advent of advanced DNA analysis techniques, researchers have been able to extract and sequence Neanderthal DNA from ancient bones, opening an entirely new chapter in the study of human evolution. The Neanderthal genome has long been a source of fascination. Unlike the modern human genome, which has been fully mapped, the Neanderthal genome presents a patchwork of genetic material, pieced together from multiple ancient remains across Europe and Asia. Cima de los Huesos has significantly contributed to this research by providing a valuable and well-preserved sample of Neanderthal DNA. The genetic data gleaned from these ancient remains has given researchers profound insights into the connection between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens. What was once thought to be a clear divide between these two species is now understood to have been much more complicated. Through comparative genetic analysis, it has become apparent that Neanderthals and Homo sapiens share a significant portion of their genetic material, suggesting that at one point the two species interbred. This finding has reshaped our understanding of human evolution, showing that modern humans did not descend from Neanderthals, but rather shared a common ancestor. This common ancestor is believed to be Homo heidelbergensis, an early human species that lived around 700,000 to 200,000 years ago and gave rise to both Neanderthals in Europe and modern humans in Africa. So, how did we end up being the only human species to survive? Well, let's find out. The rise of modern humans, Homo sapiens. The story of Homo sapiens, our species, is a tale that stretches across time, from the barren savannas of Africa to every corner of the world. However, fossils from South Africa, Ethiopia, and other parts of the African continent show that modern humans did not emerge in a single place, but rather evolved over a vast and diverse geographic area. These fossils, some of which date back more than 300,000 years, exhibit a fascinating blend of features that range from both modern and archaic traits. For instance, the famous fossils from Jebel Irhoud, Morocco, dating to around 315,000 years ago, exhibit a mix of Homo sapiens and Homo erectus features, leading some researchers to propose that Homo sapiens emerged gradually through the interaction of different hominin species across Africa. What makes these discoveries so compelling is the evidence that Homo sapiens were not a monolithic species with a single morphology. The diversity of features seen in early human remains is profound. Some fossils, like those from the Omo Kibish site in Ethiopia, show distinctly modern features in the skull and face, while others, like those from Florisbad in South Africa, exhibit traits that are more archaic. This complexity challenges earlier notions that modern humans were a homogeneous group with one definitive set of physical characteristics. Instead, it suggests that the path to Homo sapiens involved a diverse range of evolutionary pressures and genetic exchanges over an extended period. As important as the skeletal evidence are the technological advancements that accompanied the rise of modern humans. The development of stone tools marks one of the most defining aspects of our evolution. The earliest tools, dating back around 3.3 million years, were simple and rudimentary, made by early hominins such as Australopithecus. These tools, often referred to as the Oldowan toolkit, were primarily used for butchering animals and processing plant material. However, by around 1.75 million years ago, there was a dramatic shift in human toolmaking. The appearance of Acheulean tools, which were large bifacial hand axes and cleavers, suggested a leap in cognitive ability. These tools were far more sophisticated, and their widespread presence across Africa indicates the development of a more complex, organized approach to tool use. But the evolution of tools didn't stop there. As Homo sapiens began to emerge, their toolkits grew increasingly refined. By around 400,000 years ago, the archaeological record reveals evidence of increasingly specialized tools designed for specific purposes, such as thrusting spears and finely crafted projectile points. These tools were not only indicative of improved hunting techniques, but also reflected a growing understanding of the environment. Early humans began to innovate ways to craft tools from a variety of materials, including stone, bone, and wood. Tools like scrapers for processing hides and bone spinnerets for working wood and fibers are evidence of a nascent culture. Early humans had started to manipulate their environment in ways that were both purposeful and artistic. The advances in tool-making also suggest that Homo sapiens were capable of more complex social organization and knowledge transfer. Some researchers believe that the increasing sophistication of tools indicates the presence of language and symbolic thinking, key components of what we now consider modern human behavior. In fact, one of the hallmarks of the Upper Paleolithic period, which began around 50,000 years ago, is the sudden explosion of cultural artifacts, including cave art, jewelry, and personal ornaments. As Homo sapiens began to adapt and innovate, migration out of Africa began earlier than previously believed. Fossils and tools found across the Mediterranean have shown that humans began venturing out of Africa as early as 200,000 years ago, a full 100,000 years earlier than once thought. One of the most significant finds supporting this theory came from Israel, where a jawbone discovered at the Mislia cave in 2002 provided evidence of early human presence in the region dating back about 185,000 years. Tools and evidence of human occupation in nearby areas, such as Kafse Cave and Skull Cave, support the idea that modern humans were in the Levant well before the traditionally accepted migration dates. Moreover, the practice of intentional burial, once thought to be a behavior unique to Neanderthals or later Homo sapiens populations, was uncovered in the Mount Carmel caves in Israel. Grave goods and deliberate positioning of bodies indicate a level of cultural complexity in early Homo sapiens that was previously underestimated. Similar burial practices have been found in southern China at sites like Fuyang Cave, where remains of early Homo sapiens, also with burial rituals, were discovered. These burial practices challenge older models of early human society, suggesting that culture and complex behaviors emerged earlier than expected in Homo sapiens. However, not all discoveries are clear-cut. Controversial findings, like the skull fragment found in Greece, have sparked debates over the origins of modern humans. The skull, which is dated to be about 200,000 years old, has been the subject of much debate because it suggests that humans may have migrated out of Africa earlier than previously thought and could have evolved in parallel with other human species in Europe. However, challenges with the dating of these fossils and the interpretation of their morphology have led some experts to question the accuracy of these early migration claims. But wait, there's more. Other notable discoveries that redefine human history. Several groundbreaking discoveries have significantly expanded our understanding of human history, rewriting the story of our evolutionary journey and highlighting the complexity and diversity of our ancient ancestors. One of the most remarkable revelations in recent years involves the discovery that Melanesian populations, particularly those from Papua New Guinea, Australia, and surrounding islands, carry genetic material from a previously unknown human species. In 2016, geneticists uncovered that these populations possess traces of DNA not found in other humans, suggesting an interbreeding event with a hominin species that has yet to be identified. This discovery was the result of extensive genome sequencing, which compared the DNA of Melanesians with that of modern humans, Neanderthals, and Denisovans. This discovery introduces the possibility that human history is even more complex than previously understood. Rather than the simplistic narrative of Homo sapiens being the sole descendant of the African exodus, we now have evidence suggesting that different human species were mixing and interacting across vast regions. This discovery has fundamentally challenged the out of Africa theory, implying that there were multiple hominin populations with whom Homo sapiens might have coexisted, and that genetic exchange between species was likely more common than assumed. The most intriguing aspect is that this unknown hominin might be an entirely new species, suggesting that there could be more to uncover in the genetic legacy of Melanesians and other isolated human populations. Similarly, a jawbone fossil discovered in Spain in 2007 and re-examined in subsequent years has provided new evidence that Homo sapiens were already present in Europe much earlier than previously thought. Dating between 45,000 and 66,000 years ago, this fossil is one of the oldest and most significant specimens of early Homo sapiens found outside Africa. What makes this jawbone especially significant is its morphological features, which closely resemble those of modern humans, but with certain archaic traits. The discovery challenges the long-standing belief that Neanderthals were the only human species in Europe during this period, and provides further evidence of early human presence in the region. The dating also raises important questions about the interactions between Homo sapiens and Neanderthals, suggesting that there was potential for cultural exchanges and interbreeding. Then there's the discovery of a Denisovan tooth in the Cobra Cave in Laos. This came to light in 2020 and dramatically changed the way we view the Denisovans and their geographical range. Dating between 164,000 and 131,000 years ago, this tooth represents the first Denisovan fossil found in Southeast Asia, expanding their known range from the Denisova cave in Siberia to China and now Southeast Asia. The Denisovans were previously thought to be confined to Central Asia, but this discovery suggests that their presence extended far beyond the regions where other fossils have been found. Denisovans could have spread widely across Asia, interacting with early Homo sapiens and even Neanderthals. In another instance, using satellite imagery, scientists were able to identify specific regions in South Africa that were rich in fossils, ultimately leading to the discovery of several important Australopithecus remains. These fossils, which date between 4.4 million and 1.4 million years ago, offer crucial insights into the early stages of human evolution and the development of bipedalism. These discoveries push back the timeline for Australopithecus, offering clearer evidence of the species' habitat and behavioral adaptations. The fossils show that Australopithecus were not merely primitive beings, but rather dynamic creatures who lived in a variety of environments. The discovery also highlights the diverse morphology of early hominins, with Australopithecus having features like long arms for climbing and a pelvis shaped for walking upright, showcasing their transitional nature. But what if there were many other species of humans than previously thought? Well, at least we know about some of them. Several new human species discovered. The discovery of human remains at the Nesha Ramla site in Israel has emerged as one of the most significant archaeological revelations in recent years, shedding new light on the complexities of human evolution. This find offers unparalleled insights into the genetic heritage and diversity of ancient human populations in the Levant. Located in central Israel, the Nesher Ramla site became the focus of intense scientific interest after the excavation of human remains in the early 2000s. The remains, which include a skull, were uncovered during an archaeological dig at a Paleolithic site known for its abundance of flint tools and other cultural artifacts. The skull in question, along with other skeletal fragments, was determined to belong to a mature adult human, likely a member of an ancient population that lived in the region around 50,000 to 70,000 years ago. The Nesher Ramla site has since become crucial for understanding the interactions between different Homo species that coexisted in the Levant during the Middle Paleolithic period. Israel was likely a region of significant human migration, with Homo sapiens, Neanderthals, and other hominins passing through and coexisting. The skull from the Nesher Ramla site has been dated to between 50,000 and 70,000 years ago, a period during which both Homo sapiens and Neanderthals are thought to have lived in close proximity. What makes this find so significant is the genetic complexity suggested by the skull's features, offering a glimpse into a unique blend of both Homo sapiens and Neanderthal traits. Researchers believe this skull could represent an individual that was part of a previously unknown human population that emerged in the region. The people of Nesher Ramla were most probably part of a hybridized population, with a mix of traits that had been inherited through generations of interbreeding between Homo sapiens and Neanderthals. This offers significant evidence that genetic exchange was not a rare or isolated event, but rather a frequent and complex aspect of early human history. This discovery also strengthens the case that Neanderthals did not simply disappear, but were integrated into the human gene pool, contributing to the genetic diversity of modern humans. The Nesher Ramla skull has far-reaching implications for our understanding of human diversity in the Levant and across the ancient world. The interbreeding and genetic overlap between Homo sapiens, Neanderthals, and other early human populations in Israel suggests that human evolution was far more complex than a simple linear progression from primitive to modern. This finding also challenges the idea of a distinct human species and presents the possibility that ancient populations were much more interconnected, with shared genetics across regions and periods. Furthermore, the Levant continues to be recognized as a crucial crossroads in human evolution, a region where the genetic makeup of modern humans can be traced back to interactions among diverse human populations. The discovery at Nesher Ramla provides evidence of the fluidity of human identity, highlighting the ongoing mixing and adaptation of different human populations, and how this contributed to the genetic legacy of contemporary populations in the region. The Nesher Ramla discovery, alongside other important fossil finds from Israel, forces a re-examination of the relationship between Homo sapiens and Neanderthals. Once viewed as two distinct competing species, these hominins are now understood to have shared many traits and even coexisted and interbred in various parts of the world. The skull and other fossils from Israel point to a more dynamic relationship between Homo sapiens and Neanderthals, with significant gene flow occurring between the two populations. This evolving understanding has significant implications for how we think about evolution, identity, and the continuum of humanity. The Taboon Lady, a fossilized Homo sapiens skull discovered in Israel in the 1930s, is another key specimen that helps contextualize the Nesher Ramla find. The Taboon Lady is often seen as one of the earliest examples of modern human remains in the region, and her relationship to other hominins, like the Neanderthals and Homo sapiens, remains a critical area of research. Fossils such as the Taboon Lady, along with the Nesher Ramla skull, contribute to our evolving picture of human evolutionary history. In recent years, similar groundbreaking discoveries have reshaped our understanding of human evolution. The discovery of Homo luzonensis in 2019 on the island of Luzon, Philippines, for instance, represented a pivotal moment in the study of human evolution. This new species was identified through the excavation of remains found in the Callao cave, including teeth, hand and foot bones, and a femur. These remains date back to a period between 50,000 and 67,000 years ago, a time when Homo sapiens were already present in Asia. What makes Homo luzonensis particularly significant is its combination of traits that do not fit neatly into the categories of either modern humans or other ancient human species, suggesting that this group may have followed a unique evolutionary path on the island of Luzon. The anatomical features of Homo luzonensis show a mixture of primitive and derived characteristics. For example, its teeth are smaller than those of Homo erectus, but its hand and foot bones reveal similarities to other early humans, such as Australopithecus. The discovery of this species suggests that early humans were more diverse and geographically widespread than we previously thought, with different human groups evolving in relative isolation on islands like Luzon. This raises important questions about how populations of early humans adapted to their environments and how different species interacted across time. Homo luzonensis further complicates the story of human migration and suggests that the genetic tree of early humans was likely far more branching and complicated than previously assumed. The discovery of Homo juluensis is another example of how recent research is challenging the established narrative of human evolution. Proposed by a researcher from the University of Hawaii, this new species could be an offshoot of the Denisovans. The discovery of Homo juluensis could fill an important gap in our understanding of the Denisovans and their connection to other early human populations. If this new species is confirmed, it would help piece together the evolutionary puzzle of Denisovans and their possible interactions with Homo sapiens and other hominins. The Denisovans are known to have contributed genetically to modern humans in certain populations, particularly those in Southeast Asia and Oceania. So the discovery of a related species in the region would add a new layer to the genetic connections between Homo sapiens and other archaic human groups. Then there's also the discovery of 400,000-year-old human remains found at a site in Atapuerca, Spain. These remains, which are thought to belong to a population that predates both Neanderthals and Homo sapiens, present anatomical and genetic evidence that do not align with what we know about these two species. The skeletal remains appear to represent a group of early humans that may have been direct ancestors of both Neanderthals and Denisovans. However, the physical traits of these humans do not fit neatly into the traditional classifications of either of these species. Several theories have been proposed to explain this anomalous discovery. One possibility is that the remains represent a shared ancestor of both Neanderthals and Denisovans, a species that lived before the divergence of these two groups. Another theory suggests that the remains are from a new branch of humans that existed alongside Homo erectus and were eventually absorbed into the evolutionary lineage that produced both Neanderthals and Denisovans. There is also the possibility that the genetic material from these ancient humans was passed down to both Neanderthals and Denisovans, but ultimately disappeared from the Neanderthal lineage, leaving Denisovans as the main inheritors of this genetic heritage. This discovery calls into question the simplicity of the traditional human evolutionary tree. Instead of seeing a clear linear progression from Homo erectus to Neanderthals to Homo sapiens, these new findings suggest that the evolution of humans was far more complicated, involving multiple branches of hominins that occasionally interbred and shared genetic material. For much of the 20th century, the story of human evolution was often framed as a narrative of progressive development, with Homo sapiens emerging as the inevitable and singular survivor of a once diverse group of hominins. However, these recent discoveries challenge that view, suggesting that our ancestors were part of a broad, dynamic group of species, many of which have now gone extinct. Hominins, the family of species that includes modern humans and our closest ancestors, likely encompass dozens of unknown species, some of which may have overlapped in time and space with Homo sapiens. As a result, our evolutionary past was much more multifaceted than we previously realized, with different hominin species coexisting, interbreeding, and adapting to diverse environments across the globe. The discovery of new human species, such as Homo luzonensis and Homo juluensis, along with ancient remains that do not fit traditional species categories, show us that there is a grave need to re-evaluate the traditional narrative of human evolution. Furthermore, these findings highlight the interconnectedness of early humans and our closest relatives. Rather than being isolated populations, These ancient humans were likely part of a wide network of hominins spread across the globe, with occasional gene flow and interactions shaping the course of human evolution. The fact that humans are the only surviving species from this diverse group of hominins suggests that we are the result of a long, complicated process of survival and adaptation. All we can say for sure is that the story of human evolution is still being written. These new species and ancient remains reveal a more dynamic and complex picture of our past, filled with surprises and ongoing revelations about the diverse range of species that once walked the Earth alongside Homo sapiens. As more discoveries are made, our understanding of human history will continue to evolve, challenging long-held assumptions and offering deeper insights into the roots of our existence. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Did you like this video? If you did, please consider liking, dropping a comment, and hitting the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on our new uploads. Also, don't miss this video you see on your screen right now. It's truly unbelievable.